the interesting part is that a lot of um, a lot of cyberpunk stories, they had like this weird fanciful way of showing the internet. It was like a place. It was like you log in, you're like physically inside of it. It's like a VR world, that kind of stuff. Oh, cyberspace, cyberspace. That's also where it came from. It's like this space inside of the computer, that kind of stuff. Of course, reality is always disappointing, as Thanos said. So it's like yeah, we're not gonna be moving in that direction. I don't expect it, at least. I mean, like, the best attempt at that kind of stuff is like VR chat, but that's not even like browsing the internet. Of course, you are doing some kind of browsing in VR chat, because you're moving from like room to room there, and you kind of like change avatars. You can look in a mirror or whatever, or do something, and you can change your avatar, that kind of stuff. Those kinds of things.
Oh wow. Yeah.
You remember.
And
Yeah.
yeah. Exactly. Like back in the day. Then I mean, you meet friends.
Yeah.
In a random room.
Yeah.
And you tell that friend, hey, I know a place.
Yeah.
Called Newgrounds Room. So let's go there. And
exactly.
the circle is round again.
Yeah, exactly. So that's when we were playing. We were like, that happened to us as well. We were just walking around, and somebody said, "Hey, I know this is other room," and we kind of followed them and went over there and blah blah. And you kept that's like kind of like a way that like the old internet worked, but that's VR chat. But that's like the most cyberpunky kind of experience that I could think of that we have today. Yeah, as in like user-facing experience. Yep. But when we're talking about like, but that's different from like the actual like
really standing like physically ish, mentally in that space.
Yeah, the current VR doesn't allow for that, like the way you see it in a lot of these cyberpunk things, or not even cyberpunk things. Like we've talked about it before in previous episodes. Like with Johnny Quest. Johnny Quest is not a cyberpunk show, but it had like the whole VR with Quest World, and they were like literally full dive, full dive. They were full dive inside the thing. That's still a ways off. But
and exactly.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And especially when VR now it's maybe 4K, but what if it goes 8K or 16 or 32K?
Yeah, I mean, even if it's like 32K or whatever you want to call it, it's still, if it doesn't move beyond the I'm wearing a headset on my head, it's not gonna have the same thing. We need full dive. We need nerve gear like in Sword Art. We need that kind of stuff. We need the Quest World tech that like completely neural interface into the thing, so we can literally feel as if we're inside of it. But that's gonna be a while. That kind of stuff. But I mean, browsing the internet, another way that the internet is actually moving towards these cyberpunk predictions, sadly, is more in the kind of like infrastructure way, as in like, because up to now we were talking about like user-facing, user-facing aspect, like what do? You're browsing on the website, you're logging in VR, blah blah. But like the other side is the entire infrastructure behind the whole thing, how that's all created and how that's all done. For example, the China, they completely sealed off their internet. The Great Firewall of China is a thing. You can barely get in there or get out. Some people actually go to jail for literally, quote, inside quotation marks, smuggling videos out of there that show, like, for example, something the government doesn't want you to see, and they put them on YouTube and that kind of stuff. So it's like, it's very cyberpunky what's going on in the margins of the Chinese internet. It's very cyberpunky. The authoritarian state trying to suppress the people through technological, for the internet, and they're like blocking things and that kind of stuff. And another aspect of the whole cyberpunk thing is that they have their own internet. You see that a lot in a lot of cyberpunk things, where oh, you're logging into this network. Oh, that network is from that company. Oh, this network is from that country. You have to log in. You have to do specific things to log into that network or versus that other network. That kind of stuff. That's a big thing in a lot of cyberpunk stuff.
Oh, this reminds me of a current trend, though.
Yeah.
It reminds me on how crypto is. If you're really into crypto, you're dealing with stuff like this.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I'm saying like the like infrastructure side of the internet is starting to resemble a cyberpunk future because it's starting. The main part of this is that it's starting to get segmented. The internet is starting to split up into different parts. And as you said, the crypto, you have Tor, the Onion browser, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of other things going around like that are segmenting the internet. And for example, like in Cyberpunk 2077, the internet is completely segmented there. That's because they had the data crash in the 2030s, I think, or the 2020s. I think but anyways, somewhere around there, they had the data crash. Maybe it was even earlier, actually. But whatever, it doesn't really matter. The data crash happened. It like completely destroyed the current internet we have now. And then the governments and companies and everything rebuilt separate networks of their own. And they're kind of interlinked because you can send information from one to the other. It is possible, but it's usually not done by like normal people. But they are interlinked. But yeah, the internet there is completely segmented. Even there's an entire what do you call it? There's an entire mission series in the game where the Voodoo Boys have this thing going on. You need something from them, and then Netwatch is the one that like kind of like operates or does security for the internet in the cyberpunk world. And Netwatch wants to enter the Voodoo Voices internet. So there's this whole mission about either you choose to either defend the Voodoo Voice or you choose to give Netwatch access to the Voodoo Voices internet, that kind of stuff. But there you see that the Voodoo Voice have their own completely sealed off internet and the Netwatch cannot get in there. But Netwatch wants to maintain control of all the internet, all the separate internets out there, because it's better security as far as they're concerned if they could keep an eye on everything. Because they also want to prevent the black wall from falling apart. That's another internet separation tool, because the black wall in Cyberpunk is how Netwatch defends the human internet from the rogue AIs that are roaming the internet. Which is pretty hilarious because Cloudflare. Cloudflare is a network services company, and they recently developed something they call an AI labyrinth. So it's like on their website they promote it as a way to trapping misbehaving bots in an AI labyrinth. That's how they announced the video, or I mean not video. That's an article they have on their website, and it kind of reads like the Black Wall, like literally you have rogue AI that are trying to find your stuff, and they have a service developed to defend your website from these AIs by trapping them in a labyrinth. In a like this generative links labyrinth, so they keep getting these endless links that they get trapped into. But that's not the only one that's doing this. Cisco is also working on an AI defense system, which they just call it AI defense, I think. What did they call it? Let me see. Yeah, but comprehensive AI security to keep your enterprise safe and secure. That's what they say, have it on their website. So it's like all of these networking companies and internet services companies are basically developing the black wall, because now we're having rogue AIs. It's basically rogue AIs, because these AI bots are just roaming the internet, scraping everything they can find, and like whatever. It's like it's a free-for-all out there. And now you're having these companies develop these things, but what's happening is that they're slowly segmenting the internet, because now instead of like being able to do all this stuff, your field of operation is smaller, because now you have all these services running that block all kinds of other services. You know what I mean? So we're slowly moving into this world where the internet resembles a lot of the cyberpunk stories, where it's like all these separate networks, and you have to log into everyone separately, and you have to do everything separately. I'm gonna go do something on this network, I gotta do this. Something that network, I gotta do that kind of stuff. We're slowly moving into that direction. So it's like it's hard to predict where things are going, considering these things, but when we see what's happening and what happened in these cyberpunk stories, the biggest problem that could happen with these segregation of these systems is that like fake news and those kinds of things can increase, because now you don't have access to all the information. Now the information is segmented, and then you have trouble finding what's real or not, that kind of stuff. So those are some of the issues that are possibly coming our way in the future with these kinds of technology. So we need to really be careful how much you want to segregate the internet from itself. You know what I mean? That's like, you need to think about that. You know what I mean?
On that note, please tell us in the comments below what you think of internet. Well, what do you predict on how the internet will evolve? You can also discuss it in our Discord channel. You can find the link in the description below. If you had to deal with this phone line internet cable thing, dial-up system, like and subscribe.
Oh yeah.
Also support us.
Yes, like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.
The next video. Bye bye.